Hi, this is Mrs. McCoy, and this is lesson number 3, Terminating and Repeating Decimals from your summer math packet. So basically we're going to go over actually division skills, long division skills, and we're also going to learn how to write a fraction as a decimal and how to write a decimal as a fraction. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a fraction and write it as a decimal. So fraction 3/20, we want to write this as a decimal. So we're going to look at this and we're going to go from top to bottom. This is the top to bottom method for division. So it's 3 divided by 20. So you write 3 divided by 20. Now notice 20 cannot go into 3 because 3 is smaller than 20. So it can't go in evenly at all. So we're gonna have to do what's called add a decimal. So we're gonna put a decimal here and initially pop it right up there. And I'm gonna put a 0 over my 3 because I wanna hold that place. I don't wanna put a number in there. I'm just gonna extend my line. And I'm gonna add some zeros. I might not need them all, but I'm just gonna add them just to make it easy. So the first thing we're gonna do is ask ourselves, how many times can 20 go into 30? Because I added that one decimal. Well, let's think, well, if I multiply 20 times 2, that's 40. So it definitely cannot go in twice, so it must have to go in once. 1 times 20 is 20. And we're going to subtract, so we're going to end up with 10. 10 is the remainder, and 10 is less than 20, so that's okay. If you got a number that was greater than, you'd have to increase this number up here. So now 20 can't go into 10, so we're going to need to bring down this 0. Can 20 go into 100? Yes, it can. So 20 can go into 100 5 times. 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 2 is 10, and we're gonna subtract, and it looks like we did not need the extra 0 because the remainder equals 0, and that means we have a terminating decimal, so we do not need to go any further. So our 3/20ths, the equivalent of 0.15. And this is also written as 15 hundredths, because this is your tenths place, this is your hundredths place, so we say 15 hundredths. All right, the next one we're gonna do is a repeating decimal. And so we're gonna take 5/9, and we're gonna use the same method, the top to bottom method. So we're gonna take 5 on the top. This means divided by 9. That way you have the numbers, the dividend and the divisor in the correct spots. So at this point, again, 9 cannot go into 5 evenly, so we need to pop our decimal up, put a 0 there, add a 0 or 2. Can 9 go into 50? Yeah, 9 can definitely go into 50, and it goes in about 5 times. 5 times 9 is 45, so we're gonna subtract and we get 5. Now we're gonna bring down the 0 because we still have a remainder. Can 9 go into 50? Yes, it can. 5 times. 5 9s are 45, and we're gonna end up with another 5 as our remainder. So since we are going pretty much in a circle here, every time we add a 0, 9's gonna be divided into 50 and we're gonna get 5. So we call that a repeating decimal, and we can use bar notation. So bar notation, which just means we can write it as 0.5 repeating. All right, so 0.5 repeating. If this was a different number, say this was a 5 and a 1, and that kept repeating, then you would say you put the bar over the 5 and the 1. But since it's 5, 5, 5, and it's just going to continue to go 555, we can make it 0.5. All right. Next, we are now going to write the decimal as a fraction. I'll go this way. So I'm going to write a decimal as a fraction. Okay, so let's say that I have the decimal 0.14. That is my decimal. Okay, so the way you want to write this is you want to say to yourself, what would I say if I needed to say what this number is? Okay, so this is your tenths, this is your hundredths. So you always want to take the number itself and then say that. So you're going to say 14 hundredths. So it's 14 hundredths because this is the hundredths place. Okay, so whatever the last place is, that's the term that goes after the number. So it's 14 hundredths. So we can say 14 over 100. So 14 hundredths. So in this case, we would still need to simplify because these are both numbers that at least 2 can go into. So we could start simplifying, dividing both sides because they're even numbers by 2. And that's going to give me 7/50ths. There's no number or whole number that evenly goes into 7 and 50, so this has been simplified. So you can't leave this as your final answer. You do need to simplify. Very important, otherwise your answer will not be correct. Let's do another one. Let's say we had 0.375. Okay, how would I say this? Well, I would say this as, this is tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So this is going to be we'll say 375 thousandths, because this is your thousandths place. Okay, if I had another one and I said 0.4682. So this is your tenths, your hundredths, your thousandths, and your 10,000ths. So it would be 4,682 over 10,000. All right, and that's how that works. Thanks for listening.